Yo, what is up? It is Lewis here, and in today's video I want to go over the current dip that we're experiencing in the crypto market, what I think it means, what I think the future of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are, and what I'm doing right now. Before I say anything though, I just need to get this disclaimer out of the way. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is not investment advice. This is just what I think. These are my thoughts, my opinions, and this is for entertainment purposes only, but this is what I truly believe though, and this is like what I'm doing, so take it for what it's worth. Okay, so the first thing that I want to say is that right now the cryptocurrency market cap for all cryptos is $400 billion. And I am almost certain, no, I'm not almost, I am certain that it will reach well over $1 trillion by the end of this year. So the current market cap, 400 billion. It's going to be over $1 trillion by the end of this year, and that I'm almost certain of. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is that if you understand what cryptocurrency actually is and you dive deep into it and you understand what the blockchain is, which is just as important, then you really, it's very hard to be, nervous or worried when there's dips, because you could see into the future and understand that this technology is the future and that in a short amount of time, it's going to be interwoven throughout every single part of our lives. So if you're really worried about it, ask yourself, have I really read up on it? Like, how many hours have I put in to discovering what it's really all about? Do I know what the blockchain is? Do I know, what cryptocurrency even means? What is Bitcoin? What is Ethereum? And by the way, I have videos on all of that, so click on my profile and you'll find them. The third thing I want to say is that along with having this market cap go well over $1 trillion in 2018, I also believe that 2018, probably within a month or two, or maybe it'll be, this December like it was last year, will show the greatest bull market run out of any market, out of any history in the world. I am almost certain about that, because right now institutional investors aren't even allowed in. And I mean, these institutional investors are just dying for crypto to become allowed by the SEC, and like when that happens, it's gonna be insane. The next thing that I want to say is that this crypto dip has happened every single year in January of every single year for like 5 years now. Like, it has always happened. It's like clockwork. Every January the crypto market just plummets, and it's no different. Last year it happened around January 5th, and this year it happened around the same time. Last year it ended around the 4th week of February before the bull market came back, and in this time it's probably going to do the same thing. I'm thinking it'll be over by Valentine's Day, and then the bull run will start to happen again. Along with that, every single time the crypto space has actually had a major correction and a major dip, everyone has said, oh no, this is the end, crypto is over, forget about it, the bubble has burst, blah 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 blah. All you have to do is look at history and you could see what is happening, and then you could be on the right side of history by doing smart things. Personally, I'm investing heavily during this dip because I know for a fact, like in my mind, there's no other way than it will be going up. Like it can't go down further than this. Like, yeah, it could go down maybe like another 10%, another 20%, sure, but like it'll come back up anyway. Like, it's always going to come back up, and I expect to have, minimum 10x returns, probably a lot more than that on every single, or not every single, but on my portfolio by the end of this year. And that's the other thing. If you have a good combination of the fundamentals and trading strategies in your head, or you just know them, then you can make a lot better decisions. So I'm basing my buy-ins right now off of the fundamentals that cryptocurrency is a new and expanding technology, and it is going to be around for a very, very long time, and the fact that it's similar to how the internet came out in the early 1990s. And when the internet came out, if you jumped on some of the initial companies that came out when the internet was first starting, these companies had, they went up to billions of dollars. They multiplied it ridiculously. And honestly, crypto companies are probably going to multiply way more than the early internet companies, even though the early internet companies went up to billions of dollars. And the other thing that I really should mention regarding this point is that you do want to take your funds out at a certain point, because at a certain point, the bubble will burst, just like how it happened in the internet, and that's what I'm saying. You have to look at history, okay? You have to understand markets, and what I'm saying is that right now, Bitcoin, altcoins, every single cryptocurrency, except for the shitcoins, are extremely undervalued, and they're gonna remain undervalued until 100,000 or 500,000, you know, some insane number, you know, that Bitcoin is at, or like trillions of dollars that the market is at. And that's another thing that I want to say, is that no, obviously the bubble or whatever, like nothing has burst and nothing is going to go down to zero. In fact, it's actually, like I mentioned in the beginning, just going to continually rise and rise and rise. You cannot have something or a market go down to zero or have the bubble burst or whatever you want to say. It cannot happen when there is such demand for such limited supply. And how do you know there's such demand for such limited supply? Well, all you have to do is look at the exchanges. Look, every single exchange, or a lot of the exchanges, Bitfinex, Bittrex, Poloniex, these people aren't even accepting new customers, and they haven't been accepting new customers for months because they are just overwhelmed with the amount of people trying to get in and the amount of customers that they have right now. And every time, let's say Binance opens up their registration, you know, hundreds of thousands of people jump on that within just a few hours, and they have to close up shop. They have to close up their registration because so many people are actually trying to get on board and they can't keep up with the demand. Even Robinhood, the app that trades stocks and stuff, that's coming out with a cryptocurrency exchange, and within 1 week, over 1 million people in 1 week signed up for this service, for their cryptocurrency service, and it isn't even out yet. So in my mind, that makes me think, of course, this thing is going to continue to blow up. And also, the other thing is that if you take the graph, you know, the 1 day graph, the 1 hour graph, the 1 week graph, maybe even, or yeah, the 1 month graph, yeah, it'll look like it's going downward in a bearish trend. Okay, why don't you expand that out more to a 1 year graph or an all-time graph, and you'll see that we're still in the bearish trend, and we're actually still in the exact same spot where we are going, which is in an upward bullish market. And I'll actually put that picture right here, and you could see right here that, yeah, we had that huge spike in December, and this is a healthy correction, and this correction is gonna, you know, it's basically, it's touching the support line where it should have been all along. And I guess the final thing that I want to say is actually a quote from someone. His name is Carter Thomas, and what he said was that a market's primary function is to move money from the many to the few. So whenever you press the sell button, especially in times of fear, know who you're selling to. Who is it that's sitting on the other side of the trade? Who's buying your Bitcoin, and what do they know that you don't? Personally, I think that the whales and the huge investors are just creating war chests from this fear and uncertainty and doubt that's going on, when all of the panic sellers that bought in at the highs came in and are selling now. And you know what? I bought a lot of my stuff at the highs, but I still came out right because I understood, you know, technical analysis, or I learned technical analysis extremely fast, and I learned the market and I studied the history, so I was able to make trades and I was able to actually make profits. You know, I'll take Tron for example. Yeah, I bought in on that hype for sure, but you know what? I bought out of it and I sold it and I made a couple $1,000s like that, and that was amazing to me. So you have to know, and this is an example. This is why it's so important to study, research, and understand things like fundamentals and technical analysis, and just get that in your head and do as much research as you possibly can. And if you have to lose some sleep on it, then you have to lose some sleep on it. That's what I did. I was up till 5 in the morning for probably 3 months straight. Every single day. I haven't gone out. I haven't done anything except for this. And you know, this is basically my life. It's all I do. 18, 19 hours a day. Not 19, but probably like 16 to 18 hours a day. So yeah, those were all of my thoughts. I'm not worried at all. In fact, I'm buying more. And remember the quote by Warren Buffett, who's probably the greatest investor of all time. He says, "Be fearful when people are greedy, and be greedy when people are fearful." And that means when everyone's talking about it and everyone's blowing up and prices are soaring, that's when you're fearful. And when things are down and the market's crashing and everything's in the red, that's when you need to be greedy. With that, I'm signing out. You're awesome. Let's get to the moon together. I'll see you in the next video.